Hearing the news about the frenzied massacre at her son's high school, Eva Kachadorian rushes to the scene like a madwoman, only to be stunned by the realization that Kevin, her son, is completely unharmed, because he is not the victim, but the perpetrator. Returning home, she finds her husband and daughter lying motionless in the garden under the cold moonlight. Eva is the only one Kevin leaves alive, so that she must live amidst the resentment of the victims' families, the social ostracization of the entire world, and the ultimate loneliness of having no loved ones left. On the occasion of the original novel of the same name, We Need to Talk About Kevin, I sought it out to get the most comprehensive view of the story. This was to satisfy my own curiosity regarding the question, why did Kevin do such a thing? Was he born a psychopath? Or was it all due to flawed education from a terrible parent, Eva, who nurtured a villain? Co-directed by Lynne Ramsay, If Die My Love was one of the most famous works of the past year in 2025, then We Need to Talk About Kevin is also dubbed by many audiences as one of the most haunting films they have ever seen on the subject of family. Both share a common point, standing from the most realistic perspective of the woman herself to answer the question that everyone nearing the age of 30 is still bewildered by. How do we know if we are ready for marriage and children? And what do we need to learn to raise a child well, instead of following in Eva's footsteps? Today's video is not just limited to the content of the movie, but will provide a fuller perspective with many details found only in the original book title, to shed light on the whole story, as well as decode the life of Kevin, one of the most psychologically complex criminals ever created. The image of the mother from time immemorial until now has often been pinned in the audience's mind through advertisements as something beautiful and peaceful. This view is similar to the way Disney princesses live happily ever after, finding the true love of their lives. And everything ends there. But, in real life, everything only begins the moment the princess and prince live together, as well as with a mother. All challenges only start after the child is born. Many worry that today's youth are increasingly hesitant about having children. But from another perspective, it shows that young people are thinking more seriously than ever about the decision to become parents, because they want the child to live fully in love and material abundance. Easy access to knowledge and an open society, combined with the experience of growing up amidst difficult economic contexts, has formed a generation more cautious with marriage. That worry is entirely grounded. It is not just that reaching a certain age means we are ready to enter the journey of parenthood. The character Eva Kachadorian in We Need to Talk About Kevin is a typical example. Growing up in a broken home, Eva formed a strong independent personality from a young age. With her writing and business talent, she has a successful career with her own travel company. Originally loving classical beauty, tranquility, and valuing personal life, Eva fell in love with Franklin, a man she considered a typical American. Franklin was outgoing, full of energy, with a well-paying but boring job, putting up billboards across America. He was easily satisfied with life, and felt that wandering within the US was enough. They were like two opposite magnets attracting each other, and had a happy marriage despite many differences. Life went on peacefully, until one day, Eva entered the age of 37 and wanted to have a child. Her physical condition was no longer as it was before, making her gradually lose interest in exploring new lands. Eva felt it was time, she needed another person to accompany her and to make Franklin happier, because he always wanted a child. She was capable enough to let the child grow up in good conditions. Eva's only fear was the child having a defect, because she was over 35. Eva could not imagine anything more difficult than that. Despite being mentally prepared, not every woman is ready to accept the changes in her body during pregnancy. For someone with a strong personality, used to a life of freedom and constant movement, having to slow down, stay in one place, and adjust all living habits was a shock. Eva was forced to give up wine and parties. She was stuck at home, saying goodbye to her favorite outfits. Tension escalated when Franklin realized his wife's hesitation and worry. He believed Eva was regretting the decision to get pregnant, while she was obsessed with the possibility of the child being born abnormal. Instead of listening, Franklin dismissed all doubts and considered her irresponsible with her decision. It was too late for them to change, because it was a child, not a pair of shoes, a car, or a house. If you don't like it, throw it away. Eva was torn by a responsibility she thought she was not capable of carrying. Franklin had been ready to be a father for a long time, and only now did Eva realize he was an extremely practical person. Eva liked collecting antiques, living in old villas with historical value, liked sitting quietly dreaming and writing. Their previous harmony was because Franklin pampered all of Eva's interests, not because he himself liked them. Since having a child, Franklin wanted Eva to understand that any choice must be directed toward the child's future. So, leaving the apartment that accompanied their romance, Franklin found a spacious villa with a playground, ensuring the child could live safely and run around as much as they liked. To him, it would be better than the old, cramped place, worrying about repairs or damage, and right near a dangerous elevator. Yet Eva felt as if she were being evicted from a home full of memories, to be thrown into a cold block of concrete. No matter how many parenting books one reads, or how much advice one hears from predecessors, one still finds that knowledge becomes ridiculous and useless when entering actual combat. Eva was stubborn and refused to use painkillers or anesthesia during labor because she thought she was a particularly brave person. Yet when the baby was born, she was in so much pain, she could only lie motionless for the doctor to stitch the tear. The stinging wound and nightly insomnia made her mentally exhausted. Eva gradually realized the greatest flaw of her life was an extreme degree of independence. Eva did not have many friends and was not close to relatives. That was fine if she only had to worry about living her own life well. But at this point, she desperately needed care and could only rely on Franklin, who also had zero experience. Before she could rest, she had to struggle to do what the whole world thinks every parent must do: breastfeed. If only it were as easy and sweet as on TV. But no, it was as painful as a swollen bone bomb. And it was even harder when the difficult Kevin rejected breast milk. From the very first page, Eva's mother's diary was full of blood, tears, and loneliness. She was hurt because Kevin seemed not to like her, and felt helpless because she couldn't breastfeed. A sensitivity difficult for outsiders to understand, which only women who have just given up birth can empathize with. Franklin still went to work regularly, and diligently came home earlier than usual, because he thought the young husband would help his wife have time to rest. But both were wrong, because everyone ran away after a few days. Kevin only slept when he had cried until he was exhausted, did not smile, and often frowned. Eva struggled with Kevin for 3 months, and then quickly returned to managing the company, after finding a dedicated babysitter. She feared the scene of returning home, facing a stern gaze, Kevin's crying, and the guilt of not being a good mother figure. Only a few months later, the most patient young husband in the world began to show signs of collapse. Eva realized the young husband was only trying because he wanted an internship in her travel company. Because of Kevin, Eva made a decision that she would manage the company remotely and become a full-time mother. If only Eva had not persisted in keeping the image of a perfect family. If only she had accepted she had lost the battle of motherhood and ran to call for as much help as possible. Despite loving Franklin dearly, as each month passed, she was lying to herself. Lying to both Kevin and Franklin about the person she truly wanted to become. Eva suppressed the desire to return to her former life, condensing it into a simmering anger, like a volcano ready to erupt at any moment. Children are extremely sensitive to the energy field around them. Kevin only stopped crying when held by Franklin, not Eva or the babysitter. He did not feel his mother's tenderness, but instead her awkwardness and helplessness. Kevin understood. Eva did not want to be near him. Although she spent the whole day with Kevin, Eva's mind was not there. Her presence was more of an obligation than an attachment. Even once, unable to stand Kevin's crying, she told him that before she had him, she was much happier. Raising Kevin was also more difficult than most other children. He did not practice speaking, did not eat according to a routine, and did not learn how to use the toilet, even though he was about to enter first grade. Faced with those abnormalities, Franklin dismissed Eva's worries, believing his son was completely normal. When Eva took Kevin for an exam, even the doctor concluded he was not deaf or autistic. Kevin was simply self-learning and behaving in his own way. The first time he spoke, he said a complete, long sentence. Never having gone to school, Kevin could already count straight from 1 to 100. He was indifferent to colorful meals, quietly opening the fridge to hide the things he liked when no one was watching. Those small details made Eva always feel an invisible distance existed between her and her son. It was as if Kevin was silently observing, waiting for an opportunity to challenge and provoke her. And that day came when he destroyed Eva's private office. In a fit of rage, Eva caused him to break his arm. Kevin did not cry or report anything to Franklin. He just stared at her triumphantly. Eva's experience shows a hard-to-admit truth. Maternal love is something conditional, not naturally formed. Attachment must be built gradually through the process of companionship and care. But between Eva and Kevin, that bond did not truly exist. Most children are eager to explore new things, yet Kevin easily disliked everything, not enchanted by colors and fun sounds. If painting is how children express their inner world, then Kevin's world was submerged in chaotic scribbles of purple, brown, and black. Entering puberty, Kevin's bedroom was empty and cold. No decorations, no posters, no music. He was clean to an extreme, collected computer viruses, and listened to white noise. Kevin stood out not because he was loved, but the opposite. Even the most aggressive students were wary of him. Teachers always had to be on guard if they didn't want Kevin to make a fool of them. Kevin was smart enough to maintain a B grade in all subjects. No more, no less, although all teachers realized he could excel beyond that. Kevin always secretly retaliated against those he disliked. From kindergarten, he found ways to destroy other children's things. The teacher could not find the culprit, but Eva knew Kevin was the one behind it all. As he grew older, his retaliatory games became more dangerous. He flipped over brake pads, loosened the handlebars of a neighbor boy's bicycle, making him almost lose his life. He vituperated a chubby girl at school so venomously that she suffered from a severe eating disorder. He hid his sister's pet in a drain pipe, letting it rot to death. Kevin was completely distant from Celia, his younger sister. When she was a bit older, Kevin terrified her several times by putting worms in her backpack or leaving her stranded alone on a high tree branch. And one day, on a rare occasion when Kevin was home looking after Celia, the girl permanently lost an eye. Franklin blamed Eva for forgetting to put away the cleaning agent so that Celia could play with it. Eva doubted her memory until Celia told her that something flew into her eye, and Kevin had dripped a solution inside to wash it. Harming an outsider might be the jealousy of a spoiled child, but making his own sister permanently blind is a different story. Kevin's cruelty, even at age 14, was bone-chilling. Despite knowing everything, Eva could do nothing because Kevin always had a shield in his father. Eva and Franklin frequently argued every time Eva shared her concerns about Kevin. Kevin did not like history, photography, or the movies Franklin introduced at all. Yet he still tried to create a fake intimacy with his father, to be protected, to make Eva feel stupid for always doubting him. Kevin was not satisfied with a peaceful life. He was jealous because Eva was free to explore the world. As for him, under the supervision of family and school, he carried within him boredom day after day. Kevin was angry with the material abundance he enjoyed without doing anything. An intellectual wealthy mother, a too gentle younger sister, along with a father who always indulged his every unreasonable demand, including professional archery practice right in the backyard. When searching back through the past to try to understand her son, to see where she went wrong and what could be fixed, Eva was confused because Kevin experienced no terrible trauma or lacked anything. On the contrary, Kevin was the one who created trauma, ignited arguments, and sowed fear in those around him. Kevin craved to be seen, to be recognized, and finally chose the cruelest path to express himself. Discovering her son collected different types of computer viruses, Eva could not understand why Kevin kept such dangerous things, and she received the answer that viruses were born to destroy everything, to let the whole world know they exist, to prove to others that nothing can control them, that they can amount to something, even if that act is illegal. Kevin has many similarities to the killer Raymond from The Vanishing, a typical model of antisocial personality disorder. Raymond was obsessed with gaining control and was always driven to go against common moral standards. For such people, violence does not stem from anger, but from the desire to test power, to see how others react, what society can do, and where the ultimate limit lies. Kevin and Raymond were both smart, calm, and planned meticulously. They saw themselves as the strong, while others were just weak prey. They understood the consequences of what they did, but still performed with a calm and delighted attitude. Kevin's final brutal act took place at school. His case was more serious than all previous cases when he decided not to use a gun. Kevin stockpiled the antidepressant Prozac. He planned for the massacre to take place before his 16th birthday. He prepared a list of doctors and experts in the field of adolescent psychiatry who could defend him, because he knew Eva would find a good lawyer for the lawsuit. He secretly bought hundreds of arrows, forged the principal's signature, to write letters to the victims to gather at the gymnasium on that fateful day. He chose the best type of security locks, ensuring the police could only break down the door when it was too late. The gym was located in an isolated building. Outsiders could hardly hear the screams. Kevin cleaned it to keep a clear line of sight for shooting, quietly waiting for enough victims to arrive and locking the final door. With shooting skills honed by professional athlete teachers, Kevin easily turned 9 people into motionless hedgehogs. He still had plenty of time left until the police broke the door. Sitting in the car with his arms tightly handcuffed, Kevin stared intently at Eva, as if seeking recognition and admiration. But in her deep black eyes, there was nothing but horror. We Need to Talk About Kevin places the viewer in the tense atmosphere of a family with a child showing signs of psychological disorder but not being treated correctly. Throughout the child's upbringing, Eva and Franklin never sought professional help. They also could not talk seriously with Kevin without falling into arguments. Despite the abundance that money brought to their lives, Eva's family was always full of conflict and a lack of understanding among members. The question raised is, does the indifference and helplessness of parents make them bear part of the responsibility for the lives Kevin took? Or did Eva's coldness push her son deeper into the darkness? The toxic relationship escalated from seemingly small behaviors to horrific moments when Kevin harmed Celia. Notably, the parents did not punish him, nor did they seek external intervention. Did Franklin and Eva create a monster? Or was Kevin born that way? Were Kevin's brutal actions a way for him to punish the mother who never truly loved him? The debate over the impact of nature versus nurture on the formation of a person's personality is a hot topic in modern psychology. Are our behaviors and personalities decided mainly by genetic factors or by the living environment and education? So far, most researchers no longer stand strictly on one side, but lean toward a balanced view that humans are the product of a complex interaction between genetics and environment. Genetics can create initial tendencies for thought and behavior, but it is the natural and social environment that decides how those tendencies are revealed, suppressed, or pushed to the extreme. We Need to Talk About Kevin expresses the unstable face of American society at the end of the 20th century, when violence escalated at high schools. While Eva expressed a critical political and social attitude, Franklin still loved and was blindly proud of America, just as he loved Kevin. This was a period when America continuously witnessed violence caused by teenagers. The perpetrators carried within them a sense of dissatisfaction with society, a craving to leave a mark by killing. Increasingly savage cases appeared one after another in the newspapers, and people devoured the news only to forget as soon as a hotter, more horrific incident occurred. Among them, the most typical and much mentioned in the original novel, is the case at Columbine High School. 12 students and 1 teacher died, not to mention the 2 perpetrators also ended their own lives immediately after. The incident shocked all of America and became a turning point in how society views school violence. Before Columbine, America had a series of attacks caused by teenage criminals. High school was no longer a safe place, clearly signaling an underlying crisis in adolescent psychology. In that context, Kevin was not just the abnormal child of Eva alone, but became a terrifying product of an unusual individual nature, empty of meaning in a society where material excess cannot compensate for the need to be understood and to assert the ego. As the original novel wrote, the prosperity of this country becomes a burden, a dead end. Therefore, for the kids, they feel themselves becoming redundant, as if this life has nothing meaningful left to do. When both the family and society fail, who must bear responsibility for the mistakes of the children? Kevin's actions went far beyond everyone's imagination. Like most other mothers, Eva takes her son's crime upon herself. She considers it part of her fault. Her company and assets dissolved due to lawsuits. Eva lives precariously in a dilapidated house, frequently having red paint splashed on it by those who hate her and Kevin. She still continues to stay in the city where the horrific event happened. Every 2 weeks, she regularly visits Kevin in prison, though most of the time they just sit in silence looking at each other. Eva does not run away, but finds a way to look directly at the truth, even though that truth causes her pain. We Need to Talk About Kevin leaves the viewer unforgettable because of its sad and haunting ending. When Eva visits her son before he is transferred to an adult prison, Eva recalls the memory of when he was 10 years old and seriously ill. He thanked her for taking care of him and asked to wear the pajamas he loved. She realizes Kevin also once craved his mother's protection. The only 2 items Kevin brings into prison are a photo of a radiant Eva on a trip before she was married, and Celia's prosthetic eye. 2 years have passed since the day of his arrest. Kevin is no longer as arrogant and cold as before. Perhaps he realizes he is not that strong, that he is just a human no matter how brutal. Finally, Eva looks straight at Kevin and asks why he harmed everyone. With his hair shaved short and crisscrossing scars on his pale face, Kevin avoids her gaze and answers, "I used to think I knew. Now I'm not so sure." He slumps onto his mother's shoulder like a confused stray child, as if he had grown up without ever having a childhood. If it is assumed that the massacre was a way for Kevin to test his mother's love, to see if that love was greater than the horror he caused, then the fact that Eva continues to visit without abandoning him has made all doubts vanish. The love Kevin longed for from his mother all his life always existed. In everything he did, Kevin always sought the love and recognition of his mother. Because although he never said it, Kevin always considered Eva the most interesting and honest person he had ever met. Eva kept an empty room in the house to wait for him to return. Because to her, they are still a family. For the first time in her life, she began to learn how to love and understand the person Kevin is, including the darkest parts. There is a saying that it takes a village to raise a child, emphasizing that raising a person cannot just be placed on the shoulders of an individual, but needs the help of the community and society. In We Need to Talk About Kevin, that village was absent. The tragedy, therefore, is not just the failure of a mother or a family, but the breakdown of the entire nurturing system. And when the community is silent, when help comes too late, the price to pay is sometimes something that cannot be salvaged. Thanks to the army for accompanying me. I will surprise him. Let's play when the time comes. Hasta la vista, baby.